Southwest Florida, welcome back. If you see me smiling, it's because I'm here at the Dunbar Community School, a pillar in our community. This auditorium back here has had some historical figures have sat in this auditorium. We've had some great events here in the Dunbar Community School, so we encourage everybody to come out and continue to support Dunbar Community School on High Street. Speaking of fabulous people who come to this school, we have some fabulous guests here today. We get a chance to talk to the Honorable Judge Archie Hayward, the Lee County Judge, and Dr. Carol Weissert, the eminent professor at Florida State University, and she's the director of the Leroy Collins Institute at Florida State University. Let's bump you in. All right, good to get both of you here. We'll start off with you, Judge Hayward. First of all, you were recently re-elected as a Lee County judge. That would be your third term?
It's actually my second election. However, I was appointed in 2008.
Right. So if you add 2008 in, you had some combination that adds up to like 3 terms. But that wasn't a whole term that first.
Right. It's a 2-year appointment.
Always judge, always getting technical. Anyway, Judge, give you a chance to thank the people who voted you in and do that whole presidential thing there.
So I certainly want to thank the people who voted me in, Lee, as well as I wanted to thank you for your support during the campaign. A campaign election is a very hard thing to get through, and I was able to get through it successfully, so I am greatly appreciative.
All right, and the community was so excited to see you re-elected, and I think that was my first time endorsing somebody, so I actually endorsed you. And I see that you wore your nice suit on my show. I appreciate you showing that kind of respect. Did you go and buy it last night?
No, Lee. Actually, you know, when you're campaigning, it's like one of those solutions where you think, how do I lose weight? It's a good way to lose weight. I don't recommend it to everybody, but it does work.
Okay, great job. And Dr. Weissert, tell us Archie, tell us how you first met Dr. Weissert.
Well, during the summer, the judges have a judicial conference, and we all meet from around the state of Florida and from all of the counties. All of our county court judges come to this conference. And at the close of the conference, during the executive session, Dr. Weissert made a presentation in regards to the coming Florida Constitutional Revision Commission. And the Chief Justice encouraged us to get the word out about this commission and the works that will be done. And so I was appointed recently the chair of the 20th Judicial Circuit Pro Bono Committee. And our mission is to encourage access to justice. And the first place you start, Lee, is with the Constitution. And although this is our Florida Constitution, with that, the Pro Bono Committee thought that it would be most appropriate to assist in getting this information out to our public about what will transpire in 2017 up to 2018 to the vote for those amendments that the commission put together.
Okay, so now let's move over to the expert in the Constitution. Now, Dr. Weissert, first, before we get into that, you are the director of the Leroy Collins Institute at Florida State University. What is that?
It's a public policy, public policy institute, and what we do is we try to do research and outreach on important public policy issues. The reason we got involved in this is because the Institute's about 25 years old, and the last time we had a Constitution Revision Commission, the Institute was very active in letting people know that it was coming on and what was happening and why it was important. So this is our second time around in doing this. So what we're trying to do is really talk to the people of the state and say, you know, this is something you should be paying attention to because this is this is very important to citizens and a way that you can really have direct input into the Constitution.
Now, when I was reading the information about the objective of getting the word out and what all this was all about, the first thing that came to mind was, okay, there is a federal constitution and there must be a state constitution, because I kept seeing Florida Constitution. Differentiate for the layman.
Yeah, every state has its own state constitution, and in the Florida Constitution is about 55,000 words. The U.S. Constitution is about 7,000. So the Florida Constitution is what lays out the fundamental law for Florida. So of course the citizens of Florida abide by the U.S. Constitution, but the Florida Constitution deals with issues that aren't in the U.S. Constitution, and there are a number of them. Everything from privacy, there's a right to privacy in the Florida Constitution, there's not one in the federal Constitution, to the primacy of education. We've been talking about education. That's in the Florida Constitution, an important provision, not in the U.S. Constitution. So the Florida Constitution has a lot of provisions that really are not in the U.S. Constitution, rights, if you will. It also lays out how the Florida government will be organized, and this is a very important thing to Florida citizens.
So people need to get up on that, and they need to be aware of that when they go in to vote, because they'll be voting in the near future on certain things that are going to be added to the Constitution or removed from the Constitution. If they got, there'll be certain things that will eventually make it to the ballot.
Yes, and there will be the items in the ballot in 2018. But what Judge Hayward's group and our group is trying to do is really highlight for people before that happens, because what the procedure is that there's this commission named, 37 people, and they're named by the Speaker of the House, the Governor, the Senate President, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. And these 37 people will be named probably in February, early March, before the legislature comes together. They're citizens. They're not political. They're not legislators. They're not elected officials necessarily. Judges can be on them, but
Judges can be on them.
Judges can be on them. But they're basically private citizens who are going to sit around the table and they're going to say, how does the Constitution of Florida need to be amended? What they'll do is they'll hold hearings. So they'll come to Fort Myers, they'll come to Southwest Florida, and they'll have a session, and they'll talk to people, and they say, what do you think should be part of the Constitution? Or what do you think should be taken out of the Constitution? And all this will take place, and then the commission goes, and then it makes recommendations for what, based on what they've heard, what they think should be in the Constitution. And then it goes directly to the ballot. Doesn't go to the legislature, doesn't go to the Supreme Court. Whatever the commission says goes directly to the ballot, and the people will vote on it.
Now that's critical, and that's very important. I want to remind everybody that website that you see on the screen, you can go there and read into your heart's content. It's got a lot of information there. They Sesame Street it for you so you can understand. Archie, I'm trying to think of that law just to make a real world situation here. When Trayvon Martin was shot, they were saying Florida's law says something in terms of law enforcement can do. What's that law where they can claim whatever that was?
Stand your ground.
Stand your ground. Okay, that's it. Okay. And they were saying, hey, in Florida, they got a stand your ground law. That's tied directly to the Constitution. If you don't like that, if you want to be a part of changing that, that's the place, this is time to do it, right?
Well, I'm not sure if it's directly tied to the Constitution, but the law is a law that is on the books that gives the person the right to use that as a defense, as you could say, but it's more of an affirmative defense, and they just have to claim it. However, those are the types of things that can be considered. Those types of issues can be considered to determine whether or not they should be made a part of the Constitution. As was indicated before, there are several ways to amend the Constitution. This is just one of them, and as was said, it empowers the citizens. The people who will be appointed are those persons are from Florida that are residents, and there are certain numbers that will be appointed. I think the House has 9, the Senate has 9, the Governor has 15, the Chief Justice has 3, the Attorney General has 1. So those people will be appointed. The only person that was appointed from the Southwest Florida area on the 98 commission was Pat Barton from Naples, Florida. I spoke with her. She was unable to be here today, and she was very interested in what we were doing to get the word out, because she knows how important it was. And she was a former real estate agent in Naples, as well as she had her own organization that she was a head of. So she was one of the citizens of Southwest Florida who was on the previous commission. But I remind you, she was the only one. So we need people to if they're interested in being on the commission, to contact those people who will have the appointment powers, because they need to know that we have people in Southwest Florida who are interested in being on the commission.
That is so interesting. I'm going to have a question here for you, Dr. Weissert, that's going to have a lot of pieces to it. Okay, one, do they try to have any type of diversity of opinion when they select the commissioner, the people on the commission? How many people on the commission? How does one go about getting on the commission? Go.
37 people on the commission. As Judge Hayward said, it's a split between the governor, the Senate president, the Speaker of the House, and the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. The Attorney General automatically serves. The governor and the Senate president and the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court have put on their website links for people if they want to nominate someone or they want to nominate themselves. And you can find all those links on our webpage, the revisedflorida.com webpage. So people can nominate themselves, and people have nominated themselves. Yes, we have had 2 other commissions. We had one in 77, 78, one in 97, 98. So this is the 3rd one we've had in Florida. On the 2 previous commissions, the people who were making the assignments tried to make a geographical distribution. They tried to pick, so everybody's not from Tallahassee. They tried to pick a gender, a race. The party issue is an interesting one. In the 77, 78 one, the Democrats were controlled, but there were Republicans also on the commission. In the next year, 97, 98, we had a Democratic governor and a Republican legislature, and there was a bipartisan mixture. So, but a lot of people think there should be a bipartisan mixture on this time, although most of the appointers are Republicans.
We're going to get you back. We're going to keep people educated on this. Archie, we'll do a series of shows on this. I want to pick your brain on this one, though. Now, I want you to Sesame Street this for me. Piggybacking off the question I asked Archie, I said, hey, is that a law? Stand your ground. I have to understand that a law and what's in the Constitution are 2 separate things.
Yes.
Because, as a layman, I'm thinking, hey, it's in the Constitution, it's the law. Break that down for me, Professor.
It is. We call it fundamental law. So the Constitution is fundamental law in the sense that it supersedes law. The legislature could come beginning in their March meeting in 2017 and repeal Stand Your Ground. And they could do it on their own because it's a law, it's not in the Constitution. If something is in the Constitution, then it has to be voted on again by the people and taken out. So once it's in the Constitution, it's very difficult to take out of the Constitution. And it is fundamental law. The legislature has to pay attention to that fundamental law. There are sometimes where the legislature will pass laws and the Supreme Court will say that does not fit our Constitution. It is unconstitutional under Florida law. So
Understood.
The Constitution, the fundamental law in the Constitution is incredibly important.
Well, both of you, have been a pleasure having you on the show. We're certainly going to get you back in the future, continue to educate us as we move forward. We appreciate what you do in the community, Honorable Judge Archie Hayward and Dr. Weissert. Keep up the good work, okay?
Thank you very much.
All right, stay right there. As the saying goes on this particular show, for those who say it can't be done, they are usually interrupted by those like these fine constitutional law people who are doing it. We'll see you next week right here on the award-winning Lee Pitts Live.
Lee Pitts Live is a Lee Pitts Enterprise production.